Carlos Gamarra, Ambassador of Peru to the United Kingdom. Continuing with our series of podcasts on the World Heritage Sites located in Peru, this time we are accompanied by Adin Gabatsi, who will talk to us about 3 Peruvian national parks that are also World Heritage Sites: Huascarán National Park, Manu, and the Río Abiseo National Park. Adin is a Swiss architect of the Polytechnic of Milan, specialized in anthropology of the Andes and the Amazon. She has made research in forest cultures, healing landscapes, and pre-Hispanic and indigenous ceremonial architectures. She's worked extensively on the Peruvian coast, the Andean mountains, and in the Amazon. She has also authored numerous studies and is founding member of the UNESCO Chair Anthropology of Health of the University of Genoa in Italy. Thank you very much, Adin, for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about these very special environments and parks that were institutionally recognized at different levels. Of course, these are all national parks, but at the same time, they're World Heritage Site as far as their natural component is considered. While they are conserved and protected as specific national areas, they're also promoted by this other category, which UNESCO has institutionalized in the 70s as Biosphere Reserves. World Heritage Sites express a universal value which is supposed to communicate to everybody, values intended to protect some type of a heritage, whereas Biosphere Reserves are intended to be promoted as very special and unique reserves for a positive economy and a sustainable society. This is a very important difference because usually World Heritage Sites are just protected. They're just considered as natural or cultural museums. And so the fact that we can actually have an economy and promote a sustainable society in Huascarán, in Manu, in Abiseo is truly important because it adds many more projects scientifically wise and as far as the connection with the territory is concerned. So let's see first the Parque Nacional Huascarán. It's literally the spine of the Andes. It has over 20 mountains, more than, that has 6,000 meters over the sea level. It comprises a very vast area of almost 350 hectares. It was declared Biosphere Reserves in the 70s, and later on in the 80s also World Natural Heritage. But in fact, in the Andes as well as the Amazon, no site is only natural or cultural, because Huascarán National Park also hosts in its buffer zone the very important Chavin de Huantar World Heritage Site. And we can consider them as a joint entity. Because of being Biosphere Reserve, this area has also the special opportunity to develop in a sustainable way. Whereas when we look at the Manu is famous because it was one of the first national parks, almost 2 million hectares, a very, very wide area that spans from over 4,000 meters of the Andianapu Cañahuay down to 300 meters above sea level exactly in the point where Rio Manu and Rio Madre de Dios converge. Declared again in the 70s Biosphere Reserves, and in the late 80s World Natural Heritage. What is very unique about Manu is not just the natural heritage, it is the intangible cultural heritage of the many, many indigenous communities, and most of all of the uncontacted indigenous cultures. It is one of the areas on the planet where indigenous groups have the right to develop in peace and to promote and protect their own cultural identities. So this is why Manu is so important and so relevant, because of this very special combination between nature and intangible heritage. And then we come to my favorite, which is not just World Heritage Site as far as nature, but also as culture. It is a mixed site, Parque Nacional de Río Abiseo, also a Biosphere Reserve, and also a Bosque Modelo. I sometimes ask myself, is there anything which Abiseo does not have? Because it has one of the most fantastic cultural heritage, which is the world of the Chachapoya, one of the most incredible ethnic heritage, which is the Chachas of today, the greatest amount of ecological areas, and a span of 275,000 hectares as far as core park zone, surrounded by a giant 2.5 million hectares of Biosphere Reserve, comprising 35 districts in the areas of Amazonas, La Libertad, and San Martin. So this is probably one of the least known and maybe most mega diverse areas of the planet. But to be really frank, I ask myself, we go to Mars and we still don't have a precise map of Abiseo. And maybe just to become aware of what we have on this planet, it would be so interesting to join more forces and get to know Abiseo better. Why do I say all these, why do I push Abiseo so much? Because it's the only of these national parks which is not open to the public. We still don't have a route. So I really call up to all scientists and travelers and people who believe in sustainable development to start developing projects on Abiseo. And so I would also like to not forget about two other smaller but also relevant biosphere reserves, which are the Noroeste Amotape Manglares up in the north. These are the areas of the dry woods, and then Oxapampa, Ashaninka, Yanesha, which is between the Abiseo area and the Oxapampa, Ashaninka, and it comprises an important indigenous living set of cultures that are promoting a number of sustainable touristic activities. So we do hope that one day all these biosphere reserves connect together through biocorridors. Biocorridors are channels that allow animals to move between one area to the other, but where animal moves also move people and ultimately ideas. So the day we will have cultural biocorridors, it will be the day when we will finally connect all these fantastic biosphere reserves together and truly demonstrate in Peru the most complex and connected sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. I was really struck by your last comment about the corridors. Is there already work in that sense? Are there any projects or studies that advise this possibility?
Yes, we do have some. We do some, for instance, we have a rather new biocorridor, a cultural biocorridor, which we revived 1 year ago from the area of Chiclayo, an area of dry woods, through the ceremonial centers and the forest of Pomac and the reserve area of Chaparrí towards the Sierra of Cajamarca until the high Andean lagoons. People ancestrally collect water from the sea and walk throughout these corridors to offer the water to very special sacred sites until they go up to these sacred lagoons. Why do they do that? Not just to maintain a living culture, but to understand the basic ecological mechanism of the water cycles. It means walking through these biocorridors allows entire communities to understand what is going to happen with the climate, with the water, with the season for, when you are going to have crops, when will you start to grow special kind of plants. So this activity is so important, not just to maintain the culture and the nature of the area, but to promote a sustainable future.
Fascinating. Just one last and very brief question.
Yes.
If you had to advise any British citizens wanting to go to Peru, which one of the areas you've mentioned would you choose?
Well, this is a difficult question.
I put you on the spot.
You're asking me which of my boyfriends is the funniest one, and everybody's listening. Well, I have a depth of gratitude towards Machu Picchu, also a mixed site, because in Machu Picchu I had the opportunity to understand what a World Heritage mixed site means. So I must say that is an important destination if you want to, as a tourist today or as a traveler, to understand what a mixed site means. And remember that out of the over 1,000 World Heritage sites, only 39 are mixed, and 2 of them are in Peru. But I have to admit that my heart is forever bound to Abiseo. Because of its complexity, beauty, because of its pristine state, because of the fact that we have so much to learn from there, and what animals and plants and the living culture can still teach us. It's still there and it's not open, and we have the wonderful opportunity to make it flourish as a truly example and model for many other sites.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Once again, the Embassy appreciates very much your participation in this experimental phase in which we're opening up a YouTube channel. So thank you very much. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd be very interested, in seeing your conference at the UPC.
Yes. This is going to be on the 11th of June on the UPC.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It will be open for questions as well.
Oh, good, good.
Which is an element that I consider relevant. These new ways of, communicating knowledge through the web, through these, online seminars, it does allow the direct interaction, which is important when you don't have the physical presence of the public.
True, very true. So once again, thank you very much.
Your Excellency, thank you very much.
Bye-bye. We'll keep in touch.
It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.